Someone opens your profile right now, you feel them scroll down and down. No selfies, no tagged photos, no curated grid, just absence. And a judgment forms instantly. You are hiding. You are antisocial. Something must be wrong. But what is actually happening is far more psychologically complex, and it reveals something most never discover about how your brain is built. I'm Tim. I dig into peer-reviewed research most psychology channels never cite. Today we're going somewhere most channels won't touch. The real psychology behind people who refuse to post photos online. Not the surface-level explanation. The deep neuroscience, the attachment science, the identity research. Because what your brain is doing when it stays silent online is not what anyone is telling you. And by the end of this, you will understand yourself at a completely different level. Start with what actually happens inside your brain every time you post a selfie. Your prefrontal cortex activates in anticipation of social reward. Dopamine floods your system. The same neural reward circuit triggered by gambling, by sugar, by unpredictable reinforcement. This is social media psychology explained. At a neurochemical level, this is why your brain does this. Every notification is a hit. Every like is a small dopamine spike. And the brain learns fast. It starts craving the loop. Posting becomes compulsive, not chosen, compulsive. But your brain opted out of that, quietly, without a manifesto, without an explanation. And here's where signs you're a private person becomes scientifically significant. Psychologist Sherry Turkle at MIT spent over 15 years researching digital identity and self-presentation. Her findings were not what anyone expected. When you resist posting publicly consistently, you showed a stronger and more stable sense of self than when you post frequently. Not weaker, stronger. There is a psychological construct called self-concept clarity. It measures how defined and internally consistent your sense of identity actually is. Research in the Journal of Personality and Social Psychology found that high self-concept clarity reduces the need for external validation through performance. Your brain already knows who you are. It does not need an audience to confirm that. That is not a quirk. That is psychological self-sufficiency. Now here is where it gets genuinely surprising. The hidden truth about your silence online is that you are not avoiding connection. You are protecting the quality of it. Psychologist Christopher Long at Ouachita Baptist University researched solitude and privacy behavior across hundreds of participants. His data showed something striking. When your brain actively seeks privacy, you are not socially avoidant. You are relationally selective. Your brain places a high premium on depth over reach, on intimacy over visibility. This is introverted authenticity expressed as digital restraint. You are not afraid of being seen. You are protecting what being seen means. And this is where everything flips. Here is the counterintuitive reversal. This is the hidden truth about your behavior. You assume that posting photos signals confidence, and not posting signals insecurity. The research flips that completely. Frequent posting is often driven by what psychologists call impression management anxiety, the relentless need to control how others perceive you. It is performance dressed as confidence. Your brain that stays quiet online is not performing. It is not managing impressions. It is simply existing. And that is the rarer thing. Psychologist Mark Leary at Duke University developed self-presentation theory showing that when your sociometer sensitivity is lower, meaning you're less sensitive to social acceptance signals, engage less in identity performance online, your brain may be wired with lower sociometer sensitivity. And that is not aloofness. That is neurological independence. Now look at your default mode network. This is the brain system that activates during self-reflection, during internal identity processing, during quiet. Research shows that heavy social media use disrupts your default mode network activity. Your brain gets less practice in genuine self-referencing, less time processing who you actually are. Your brain gets more of that time. More time inside its own world, building what psychologists call a well-differentiated self, a stable internal identity that does not shift based on external reaction. You know who you are without needing anyone to mirror it back. Most never build this. Here's where social anxiety explained and privacy psychology are constantly confused. You assume you don't post because you are afraid, because you feel unworthy of visibility. But fear and preference are neurologically different states. Fear activates your amygdala. It triggers threat response. It produces avoidance behavior. Preference activates your prefrontal cortex. It produces considered choices, deliberate decisions, intentional restraint. When your brain chooses not to post and feels no distress about that choice, that is preference. That is not why your brain avoids social media because of fear. That is why your brain seeks a different kind of presence, the kind that exists without needing to be documented, the kind that is real precisely because no one is watching. This is the psychology of not being seen. It is far more sophisticated than most ever realize. This is social media psychology explained at a deeper level. There is also something happening inside your attachment system. John Bowlby's attachment theory, when extended into digital behavior, reveals a powerful split. When your attachment system is secure, you do not require constant social visibility to feel connected. You carry a stable internal model of being valued, being loved, being enough. When your attachment system is anxious, you often overpost, seeking reassurance through reactions, using likes as proof of worth. If your brain stays quiet online, your attachment system may already be providing what others seek from strangers. You do not need a like to feel liked. You do not need views to feel valued. That is secure attachment expressed as digital stillness, and it is one of the rarest things in modern psychology. Research from the University of Michigan, led by psychologist Ethan Kross, showed that even passive social media use increases loneliness and decreases life satisfaction over time. Not active use, passive scrolling. The less you participate in that system, the less your nervous system absorbs that cost. Your brain made a quiet calculation, without reading a study, without deliberate awareness. It simply chose what protected your well-being. That is not antisocial behavior. That is your nervous system running a protection algorithm you never consciously installed. So here's what the research tells you. If you don't post your photos online, your brain is not broken. It is not hiding. It is not insecure. It is operating from a distinct psychological architecture, built on self-concept clarity, on secure attachment, on neurological independence, on protection of genuine identity. Your default mode network gets more practice. Your prefrontal cortex drives your choices. Your sociometer does not run your life. You experience this as a preference, as a quiet knowing, as comfort in your own existence without needing to broadcast it. Your psychology as a private person is not the psychology of fear. It is the psychology of already knowing who you are, while everyone else is still performing the answer. If your brain works this way, there is more science here waiting for you. Stay and keep learning what makes you, you.